Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message on missing your enemy, the user, the abuser. On missing your enemy, this is an individual who at one point you were battling with. This was one who you may have smoked with, drank with. This is a person who turned on you like a snake, a backstabber, a gossip, a liar, and you found them out. Your ride or die. And then you found them out, your best friend, and you found them out. The Lord is with us. He is with us because he'll speak to us about what is happening, and then it is up to us to do something about it. Some of you all, as I've said in other audio messages, you still haven't done anything about your enemy, and so you will continue to be used. You will continue to be abused. They will continue to shame you, blame you, embarrass you. Okay? But for those who got free, who finally recognized that your user, your abuser, is not going to use you any longer, now you miss them. What? You start thinking about, well, there was some good in that connection, relationship. You start thinking about the times when you partied and when you laughed a lot and when they hooked you up and bought you some really nice things and was there for you back in the day, right? How they did for your kids, how some of them are still hooking you up or hooking your children up, even though you don't deal with them like that. And you miss the fight. You miss that person. Okay? We're not going to judge you for that because feelings are real, right? Emotions, the types of things that we connect with a person on, common interests, lifestyle, what have you. But that person is distant, low contact, no contact for good reason. God knew, God heard what was taking place with that person, and God tapped you on the shoulder and said, I got to talk to you about him. I got to talk to you about her. Now you're out this thing and you're reminiscing, and holiday seasons tend to bring out the positive. Tends to bring out the good old days. But the Lord says, if you want to stay free, don't get caught up in the trap of sentimental reasoning. Don't get caught up in the trap of, I wish we were like we were. Don't get caught up in the trap of, let me just step out and see how so-and-so is. Didn't God free you? Come on. Didn't God free you? Some folks went back. And I've talked in other audio years ago about going back. And you can check out those audio messages. They went back. And let me tell you what they found out when they reconnected, reconciled with the user and abuser. They got abused some more. The user and or abuser got them for old and new. That person who said, my parent is controlling, my parent is abusive, my parent doesn't care about me or whatever, went back for sentimental reasons because it's family tradition, because of the holiday, and they got more of the same. Brought the children into it. Now your children's getting used and abused. And you know what some folks do? They reason. They say, it's not what you think. No, I know because I've been there, done it. You see. Well, what had happened was, I don't want to hear about how you got drawn back into the trap again. So stop with the excuse making. Well, my back was up against the wall and I didn't have nobody helping me. And so that's why I did what I did. Yeah, And now you want us to pray you out of that thing again. You see, when you get free and you've got God in on this thing, you stay free. Come on. When I say I'm done, I mean it this time, says someone. Do you really mean it? Do you? Because I can't tell. We got some folks that they got these relationships with individuals that are outside the marriage, adulterers. And they'll go and they'll tell their lover or their soon-to-be lover or the in the meantime experience that I'm going to get away from that. I'm not going to be involved with her. I love you. I want to be with you or what have you. Okay? Only to do what? Good to go back to go back. But if she was so bad and she was so ugly and she was so dark and she was so this and that, why are you going back? Okay. Well, it's the children, it's the house, it's the cars, I'm not ready. Maybe you're not what I thought you were. You know, whatever their excuse is. The point is that this is where for some people, I start to question, was that person really your enemy in the first place? Or maybe you were the enemy to him or her. Because sometimes, see, we're going back because it's really not about that person. It's about what you did to that person. And now you got to make up for it. Uh-oh. I'm sorry that I did what I had. I'm sorry that I did what I did. And, please forgive me. So sometimes the person who's accusing other people of being the enemy is really the enemy of his or herself, in addition to everybody else. But stay with me. Had to throw that in, but stay with me. So there's this missing that goes on, and there's the sentimental and the memories and all this. And so the enemy will take this sort of thing and swing you back into this connection with some individual because you want to only see them for what you want to see them. Here comes the self-absorbed, self-centered individual who wants things to go his or her way. But then what happens is that picture that you painted in your mind of that person does not reflect who they are today. You're going in there for selfish reasons, selfish motives, the good old days, only to get hurt again, only to go to the children of God to pray you out this thing, or to the church, or you have your meditation, or you're trying to get your mind back, your soul back, because they done took that again, you see? And God is saying, why did you go in the first place? That harmless thing that you thought it's not going to hurt me, it ends up hurting you. I'm just going to go for just a little while. Those statements come out your enemy's mouth, and now you got to pat yourself back up again. I've been verbally abused again. He used me as a verbal punching bag all over again. Yeah, you shouldn't have been over there. You shouldn't have been over there. You see, and we tell these folks, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people and I didn't say it in this way that I'm saying it now with so much passion. I just simply talked, right? No emotion, nothing other than, I don't think it's a good idea. What do you mean? When they start that, what do you mean stuff, even though you done already told me about this enemy of yours, and you start with this, what do you mean? I already know they made up in their mind. They're going back. Oh, Lord Jesus. Well, I pray she don't get beat up this time. You see? Or, I'm just going to continue on in this relationship. You know that he's your sparring partner. He's your enemy. He's the one who cheated on you. And there's the probability that he's going to cheat on you again if he hasn't already. I know, but I love him. Okay, well, that's your love, honey, because my love, I got some, I got some moral principles, some ethics. I read the Bible. You see, but you don't understand. That's another one. No, I do understand. I understand abuse. I understand that folks aren't put on this planet to be abused, to be used. And yes, it is abusive when somebody cheats on you, because guess what? They're messing with your mind. You're thinking about it. You're wondering what they're up to. Next thing you know, you get caught up in that snare. And that snare is a beast, because now you don't trust him or anybody else that comes after him or her. Unless you get some type of healing, some therapy, something, because a lot of people, they give you the crooked eye and all you are is just the person that's the sales clerk or the representative of the company. And they giving you the crooked eye because, you look like her, or you might look like somebody who he might kick it with one day. Okay. All of that right there, that's unresolved issues, you see. But you went back though. He was your enemy, and now suddenly he's your friend. You went back because, my family, and I love my family and all that, but your family took a bunch of money from you. Your family lied on you. Your family stole from you. Your family did all this stuff, and you want to go back. You see, but I miss him. You miss the pain? No, not that. You miss the fight? No, I don't miss the fight. Well, you need to remind yourself of the fight too. Come on. Part of our healing, part of our getting over some things is that we stop thinking about the fight. We stop thinking about it only to remind ourselves of the fight. Okay. You say, wait a minute, hold up. This is a little bit confusing. Let me break it down. If I want to get free of someone, and I know that this person, even though I have all of these thoughts in my head, yes, initially, as I'm coming out, I'm forgetting about the fight because I got my own personal fight to deal with to get away from the person. So I don't want to keep thinking about him cussing at me and freaking out and doing whatever else. I got to think about my fight for freedom. Okay. But then once I'm free, yes, there's those positive feelings and emotions and what we could have been and all that. But I also got to remember, this is that man, that same man who choked you. This is that same man who suffocated you. This is that same man that was calling you everything under the sun when you were at the highest pinnacle of your life. You cannot afford to fall for him. You cannot afford to sit there and reminisce about the good old days. And that's what the enemy wants you to do. Come on, I got to go there with government. We got leadership that wants you to think about all I did for you. I did the good things, the wonderful things, the things that prospered you. Don't go over here looking at this. Don't fall for this. Matter of fact, let me orchestrate this long speech that's going to get you to think about what they're trying to do to me. The enemy wants everybody else to think that he got a lot of enemies, which in some cases that happens, right? We do end up having a lot of enemies because they don't like the truth that we speak or because we offended them in some kind of way or what have you. But that should not keep you from focusing on the fact that this person is still an enemy. Okay. Yes, he did all these wonderful things and whatever else. And yes, he may have a bunch of folks who is telling you that, they're shaming me. It's a witch hunt. It's whatever else. But at the end of the day, I got to look at what you did. Come on. Let's talk about parents for a minute. You got a child who says that I got bullies at school. Okay. And they're always doing this, that, and the other. And then upon further investigation of what they say, you find out that your child is the one that's starting the mess. And that's why the kids come back and punch and kick and shove that child and do whatever else. You see what I'm saying? But the child wants you to focus on the fact that I got hurt. And that their motive for hurting me is because I got nice clothes or because, Mom, you bought me this or you did this and that. No. You didn't tell me that you was over there cussing and fussing and acting stupid with those kids and, challenging them to a fight. You didn't tell me that, you see. Now, how does all this play out? Okay, so now we done marked these enemies, right? The child marks the enemies. The leader in the government marks the enemies. We got, family members, friends, co-workers marks the enemies. But then while you over there sitting there having fun with that enemy, oh, we resolved the issue. Are you sure about that? Next thing you know, if you don't know your enemy very well, they're back to ensnaring you again. Now you're doing your enemy's dirt. Now you're doing your enemy's bidding. Now you're doing your enemy's lying and conniving and everything else. Why? Because you want to fit in. You want to stay good with that person. Then when they hurt you again, now you want to cry on somebody's shoulder. Uh-oh. Yes. So I'm saying stop with the missing. Some of you are missing this enemy. Stop with missing the fights. Stop with telling yourself that, well, everything would be good if, or maybe if I come back and I change some things and do something different, or now that my mother or my father's out the picture, or now that, no, don't do that. At the end of the day, God showed you who your enemies are, and he does not want us getting all sentimental, caught up in the foolishness only to be ensnared again. Well, that concludes this message. May the Lord richly bless you. And may his favor be upon you this day. To God be the glory. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and we do welcome giving. God bless.